What is up everyone? Jerry here from the JC channel, welcoming you back with our second match of the semi-finals against Anthony. Last week's video giveaway winner is Deluxe Venomore. Be sure to check your YouTube inbox and respond via Twitter or Facebook for a faster reply. As usual, this week's giveaway is at the very end along with the question of the day. So if you want to win that, be sure to watch the very end. And without further ado, let's kick off with our match. For this match, which by the way was our third match of the series, let me know below if you want to see the second match, which was my loss. Anyways, I switched it back up to lead with Sableye and Azumarill to possibly counter the Machamp and Dusclops lead once again. But this time we are faced up against the Swampert instead. Upon seeing his leads, I switched my Azumarill out in order to get the Ludicolo in for the 4-time super effective Giga Drain, while at the same time putting quite a predictable taunt on Dusclops, which he sees that and switches out, knowing my plans with Sableye. His Swampert does opt to go for the Waterfall on the Sableye, knowing that it is a huge threat to his Trick Room team. At the same time, due to previous matches, I know he's Choice Banded, therefore he must switch out next turn or else my Ludicolo will outspeed and one-shot him. Right here is crucial. Knowing my Sableye is under threat from the Mawile, and also knowing that Swampert is either going to die or switch out, I can either switch out my Sableye or make the aggressive play and burn the taunted Mawile, which almost guarantees a burn on any of his team members if he decides to switch anyone in. He goes for the smartest play by sacrificing his Mega Mawile to a burn to take out our Sableye so that he can set up his Trick Room. Had he tried to preserve his Mega Mawile, he would have either lost his Swampert or I can taunt the incoming Dusclops next turn, which would be quite disastrous for his team. Though looking back, if he had switched his Mawile out for Gardevoir, he could have forced my Sableye out with Dazzling Gleam. I bring in the Azumarill to fill Sableye's role and shut down Dusclops as he is no longer with us. And normally Ludicolo does go down to a Play Rough, but we survive because of the burn as his Dusclops goes down to the lucky Scald burn. Next he will be bringing out Skull Kid, the Cacturne, the return of the duo Sucker Punches that one-shotted our Salamence for full health last game, in which we learned he is specially offensive and Grass-type moves hurt the Azumarill pretty bad. Predicting the obvious Energy Ball, I go into Salamence to get a 4x resistance to it. Had he predicted correctly and gone for a Play Rough as well, things would have looked pretty bad for us. Just for good measure, we did bring our own Mawile to get the Intimidate off so Shyvana can have an easier time taking those hits. Because Trick Room is up, we know that both of his pokes outspeed my Scarfed Salamence, and there is style points to be won here if he goes for a double Sucker Punch on the Salamence whenever I try to go for a Fire Blast on one of them. As our Azumarill comes in, he does switch the Mawile out and brings in the Swampert to take the predicted Fire Blast. Although that isn't the case, his Mawile was really not in any danger as I do go for the unevolved Play Rough on the Cacturne to pop his Sash, which by the way was intentional as I wanted to see if I could preserve the Intimidate for later use. And here we are going to pull the triple switch back into the Salamence, get more Intimidates off, take the predicted Energy Ball and potential Waterfall. But instead, we do see the Destiny Bond as our Sucker Punch fails. I opted for Sucker Punch because I know that under Trick Room, he does outspeed and I would not want our Mawile going down to the Destiny Bond. My opponent goes for a Waterfall which does neutral damage instead of the super effective Earthquake, which up to that point I honestly thought he was choice locked. Until I saw the Hammer Arm miss. Then light bulbs go off in my head and then I was just flat out confused. Both attacks are neutral, but Waterfall gives the added stab bonus, so I'm not sure what's going on there. To make up for his Hammer Arm missing, my Fire Blast is also going to miss as the Trick Room fades and our Scarf user will finally go first again, landing the Fire Blast as my Mega Mawile goes for a Swords Dance. If any of my two pokes was to finish off the Cacturne before he makes a move, then the Destiny Bond from the previous turn will still be in effect. So we'll be letting him sit there in the corner and allowing him to Destiny Bond to his heart's content. Here he brings in the Machamp for the obvious Bullet Punch, so I do switch out the Salamence, saving it and switching into Azumarill to take it as our Mawile goes for a Play Rough to take him out. He now goes for the Energy Ball on the Mawile, thinking that the Bullet Punch should have taken out what was once the Salamence. So Cacturne finally leaves his corner and comes out to play. Knowing my Azumarill does outspeed, I will go for the knockoff to take him out next turn. Normally I would go for an Aqua Jet, but I learned the hard way as Cacturnes do run Water Absorb. Actually, scratch that. We double target with a Superpower and Play Rough onto the protected Mawile. Probably fumble there as next turn will be the one where we finally take out the Cacturne. And while that's happening, his Mawile will go straight for the Iron Head into my protected Mawile, as he is left with one last poke to send out. His last poke will be the Gardevoir. I was expecting a straight up attack as the game is pretty much in the bag, but both our Sucker Punches fail as he gets the Trick Room up. Perhaps he thought I ran the Iron Head, but nope, I did not, which is quite unfortunate as many games in this tournament would have been so much easier with that move, although Swords Dance is pretty exceptional and has won me quite a few matches too. So next we will finally land the Sucker Punch, taking out the Gardevoir, and now it's just a matter of finishing off his burnt Mawile. In hindsight, and in my eyes, Sableye will still be the MVP because his burn allowed all his teammates to survive to the very end, with an exception for our Mawile, who unfortunately just falls short of that. We will take the win and conclude the semi-finals with a clean 4-0. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like as that does help our channel in terms of searchability, so remember, every one of them counts. This week's prize is the black and white exclusive 3-tutor move Zapdos you see on screen. To win, simply like, favorite, and most importantly be subscribed and answer this question followed by a hashtag JC giveaways. Here's my question to you. I was thinking of uploading a few live commentated Super Smash Bros. Matches. Should I do it? If so, which character would you guys like me to use? If not, what do you suggest I should work on instead? Remember to write hashtag JC giveaways and leave any questions you have down below. We are a tight-knit community, so don't be shy. Every voice will be heard. Thanks for sticking with me so far. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and maybe we can arrange a cabin and some drinks to welcome you aboard the JC crew. There will be a weekly uploads, news events, giveaways, and more to come. Thanks again fellow crew members, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.